Begin the portrait block-in by mixing something quite neutral. I'm actually quite close to gray here, which will allow me later to shift the temperature easily. If you squint heavily at your subject, you strip away the confusing surface details, and you isolate the true raw dark shapes. By squinting, you should be able to simplify and see the big masses of light and shadow. Your main focus right now is just to identify and lay down those main shadows. These dark masses serve as the underlying wireframe for both your composition and the structural accuracy of the head. At this initial stage, the exact size of everything is not what matters. Your absolute focus must be on the placement and the alignment. For instance, don't place your mouse off-center. Keep your constructive lines for the eyes, nose and mouth parallel. If you make minor shape mistakes here, it doesn't matter, because you will simply paint over them later anyway. So that's okay. Now squint to identify the initial saturated skin masses in the lighter areas. The objective is to coat the entire canvas as quickly as possible so that the raw tone of your canvas board doesn't warp how you judge your values. Mapping out your shadows immediately takes care of half the structural heavy lifting in a portrait. The exact color in the shadow isn't critical. Keeping the temperature consistent with the reference is what actually matters. If the shadows are warm, maintain that warmth even if you are throwing greens or any other color into your dark mix. Now, about geometry and structure. Break down complex anatomical regions like the mouth muzzle and the chin into a series of simple triangles, analyzing complex organic curves as an angular, geometric plane makes your painting decision much simpler to process. Rely on large, bold brushes like a flat rosemary brush. I will link my all-time favorite brush set from Rosemary & Co. below. The goal is to build a solid structural foundation based on value planes rather than microscopic details. As you walk through each plane, keep an active mental checklist going. Constantly audit the shape, value, temperature, and chroma of the mixture you are applying. Now I'm refining the mouth a little bit. The mustache needs some work. And I want the edges to be very soft here. On the forehead now, and I'm compressing the highlights and I'm adding some light shadows inside the lighter parts of the head. Compressed highlights, which means that essentially you have a very wide range of very close values of light. This is why it's called compression of lights. Now, about managing likeness, as you see, I'm not doing exact replica of the photo. If you feel the likeness drifting in and out while painting wet on wet, don't panic and don't overthink it. Focus heavily on correct structural placement, center line alignment, and plane changes. A second layer can easily fix minor features, but it cannot fix a broken underlying construction. Always prioritize a strong structural design over an exact photocopy. At this stage, assess the canvas to decide whether to leave it as a quick sketch or carry it forward into a highly finished piece using heavier impastos and deep modeling. Avoid harsh, abrupt boundaries on areas like the hairline. Use a soft brush with a bit of skin tone to gently blend the transition and make it look optically softer. When modeling the nose and features, you can lay down highlights and blend them directly into the wet underlying layers. The absolute secret to keeping a wet-on-wet painting from turning muddy is tracking your temperatures. For me, I want to add something expressive on here to give it more personality and to help echo with the emotion the viewer carries. For members of my Patreon, the high-resolution reference picture will be available to download. Join me on Patreon for just $5. It unlocks exclusive high-quality educational content about skin tones, proportions, and everything oil painting. It's also a great way of helping me make more videos. See you in the next one.